essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration. We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House. This seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
So political commentary always leads me back to The View, because they know everything. But this time, it's only Whoopi Goldberg, one of the leading propaganda spreaders on that show. She's upset because Karoline Levitt, the new White House press secretary, gave a briefing, and she told those in attendance they were opening up new seats for new media people, influencers, podcasters, anyone who makes news-related content can fill out an application, and if they meet the requirements and pass a Secret Service background check, they may be allowed into briefings. Whoopi doesn't understand why. Oh no, she's pissed off, and she had a few things to say to Karoline Levitt.
All right. What'd she say?
She basically said that they were going to give
unqualified.
Oh God,
how boring!
Unqualified
Can they get
people
somebody there
jobs.
not so
Behind
tedious?
the Table podcast needs to apply for White House credentials.
Oh, they'd love having Joy in that room.
I got a question. So wait a second. So in other words, instead of Bob Woodward, they want Kim Kardashian? What? I don't get it.
Wait, okay.
I have a question, which is why I was leading us in this direction.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a person's world. So please stop using that phrase and talking about, because you don't understand what you're saying. You're saying about yourself that, hey, that's a terrible thing to be. It's not a terrible thing to be. That's why we fought. That's what we were fighting for, so that you could stand in that podium, so that Catherine Jean-Pierre could stand at that podium. So women of all kinds of colors and ilks, wherever they came from, whatever their belief system was, they had the opportunity to bust down that door.
Okay, first and foremost, who does she think she is? Pointing the finger as if Karoline Levitt was right in front of her. Who does Whoopi Goldberg think she is? She is nothing but a loudmouth, woke liberal, Hollywood elitist who thinks everyone should listen to the words that come out of her mouth. She is a nobody. She's never been anybody, and she will never be anything more, in my opinion, than a loudmouth. She's telling Karoline, who do you think you are? Allowing influencers and podcasters into White House briefings? And then you heard Sonny for a second. Yeah, people who aren't qualified. Okay, listen, Whoopi's upset because Kamala got crushed. Whoopi's upset because Cringe Jean-Pierre, the LGBTQ non-binary black woman, had the job only because she was a DEI hire. That's all the Biden administration was about, was DEI. Trump did away with it. Goldberg's not happy. Apparently, Karoline Levitt mentioned something about women being at that podium, and Whoopi lost her mind. She actually said, "It pissed me off." Oh, excuse me, Whoopi. You can't get pissed off. You're pissed off at life. But anyways, she's upset, and she's telling Karoline to do her homework because she fought, Whoopi, we fought, she said, for the rights. Women didn't have these spaces. Yeah, maybe 100 years ago. But we're in a new day and age. And these women on The View need to wake up to reality. And she also said it's because of wokeness that Karoline Levitt has that position. There would have never been wokeness if it wasn't for the Biden administration. That's what they were all about. Anybody weak, anybody frail, anybody who identified as 16 different things, those were the people that the Biden administration wanted to take care of. That's why, again, DEI Jean-Pierre got that job. And she talked about influencers being allowed into the media briefings. How many times did you see the wokest, weakest influencers with Joe Biden? He had trans influencers, gay influencers, you name it, he had it. He actually had one on the White House lawn during a celebration who pulled her dress down and exposed herself. But Whoopi had no problem with that. Why? Because it was the Joe Biden administration. They are against anything that Donald Trump is doing because they know it's only a matter of time before their lies are found out. Everyone already knows that they are in the pockets of the DNC, of the George Soros of the world, of the Bill Gates of the world. Everyone knows this. These women are on the TV show that pushes the most leftist propaganda in the history of television. And again, that's my opinion, but if you listen to anything they say, they are against anything conservative. And most of the ideas coming out of conservatives are good, but you can't tell Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of the windbags that. So she's trying to lecture Karoline Levitt on how to do her job. So basically, I believe she's saying, you need to thank Cringe Jean-Pierre for being woke, otherwise you wouldn't have that job. This is the media of today. They're a daytime talk show. Why people watch it, I don't know. Maybe just to get aggravated. Me, myself, I like to get aggravated every now and then, but I couldn't tolerate watching a full episode of The View because it would really do something to me inside. But the bottom line is this. You are nobody, Whoopi Goldberg. How dare you point your finger and try to lecture somebody who has a job that you will never have, nor were you in the running for one ever in your career. That's the big problem. These women are not invited to the press briefings, and they'll never be invited. But any influencer under Joe Biden could go, but influencers and podcasters that Donald Trump may want to let in, that's no good. Because again, Sonny Hostin said it, they're unqualified. Well, what makes them unqualified? And what makes Sonny Hostin qualified to do anything? Oh, by the way, Sonny, how's your husband making out in the medical fraud case he's in the middle of? I'm going to cover that in another video because I know that's still out there. I can't believe she's actually still talking trash while her life is falling apart because her husband is most likely going to end up in prison for a long, long time. So close your mouth, Whoopi. Let the White House be, because you have nothing to do with it. You can hate all you want, but the bottom line is most people in this country could care less what you have to say, because again, you're nothing. You're a dinosaur in Hollywood, and that's all you'll ever be.